everyone, welcome back. Hopefully this glare will not be a problem. It is actually sunny out for once. Um anyway, today I thought I would do a review of Shrubbley the Monster Adventurer. I really loved this book, so I thought I would do a singular review on it. This is a lit RPG, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a how would you say it? It's like a subgenre of the fantasy category. And if you're familiar with isekai, which is a subcategory of anime and manga, where basically they're reincarnated into like a video game esque world. Lit RPG is very similar to that. So if you're familiar with that genre, you would really enjoy the lit RPG. But unlike isekai, they're not reincarnated. This is just the world that they're born into, and the game like mechanics is just kind of how their world functions. So that's basically what a lit RPG is. It's basically like a game world, like a D&D world where they're just born into it. That's just how their world works, and they have like their stats and everything just kind of like a game. So it's a very similar to isekai. So I feel like if you like isekai, you would really like this. Um, so yeah, Shrubley the Monster Adventurer. This is about a little shrub named Shrubley. He is a monster, and like everyone knows, monsters typically aren't adventurers, but he is very determined to become one. And he basically gets raised by this druid who gives him an invitation to join the Adventurers Guild. And this is where the story starts. So basically, it's his journey from entering the guild, which is a very, very monumental moment because a monster becoming an adventurer and joining the guild is like this unheard of thing. And of course, people don't know exactly how to handle that. And they think instead of being an adventurer, he is a monster, and they like try to attack him and stuff. And it's just kind of funny, but he has like this very adorable, like innocent naivety to him. And of course, he also, along the way, accumulates a party of other monsters. There is Cal. Quiet, why are you like this? I swear to God, why are you like this? Wants nothing to do with cameras, but as soon as I'm filming something, she's like, now's a good time to put my butthole in the frame. I apologize for that. Anyway, as I was saying, along on his adventures, he meets Cal, the skeleton mage, and then Smudge, the slime, Slyrox, the goblin, and then he meets the Duke on one of his quests. It's his wife, and it's just really good. The cast of characters is so cute. Like, there's a lot of in jokes, like the skeleton mage. His name is Cal, which is short for calcium. Calcium. And he craves milk because calcium, because he's a skeleton and it's like good for your bones. And I don't know, it's really funny. It's got like this really nice, light sense of humor to it. And despite like the humorous lightheartedness of the adventure, it does tackle quite a bit of like hard topics like discrimination, prejudice, and biases because he is a monster. And so there's a lot of like prejudice against him and how he deals with that and how he doesn't like necessarily realize it's happening, uh, but he kind of learns more and becomes aware of it. And like the other characters, like the Duke more specifically, or I guess she's a Duchess, um, talks a lot about it and how he needs to be more aware, make decisions, and I don't know, it's just really good. it's really good, and there's so much like good character development in this book. Like he has to make a decision at one point in this book on where he wants to go with his life, and it's really interesting because through the adventure in the book he realizes that you can't talk to everyone and like convince them of your ways, but he also realizes that you can't just like kill and murder everyone. So he finds a way to balance this out and basically makes his class where he's like a sage knight. So because he realizes that you can't just fix all of your problems with violence, but you can't always just talk your way out of a situation, but he's like you need to balance the two. So I thought that was a really interesting concept. And like I said, it has a really good character growth. Like Shrubley starts off as like this very like childlike innocence, naivety to him, and then of course across the line of the story, he kind of becomes more self-aware of the people around him and the environment, and it's just really good. And then a lot of the side characters also have really good development. Like I fell in love with this slime by the end of the book. I love him so much. He went from basically just being like a little critter that the shrub saves to just being his own full-blown character, and it's just really good. And like Cal starts off as being a very shy, timid skeleton. He got like bossed around by his group and stuff until Shrubley came along, and then he really grows into his own and becomes very self-confident by the end of the book. So like the character development in this book is like on par. The writing style for this is very good in my opinion. Like it's done in a third person. It has a very good balance between like description and like moving the story along. So it's not like over descriptive, but it gives you just enough description of what to like give you a sense of the world and like the characters, and it does give you like these funny little clips of like their skills and stuff. um yeah, I think the only downside to this book is that it does have like a little bit of repetitiveness to it, especially when you get to the middle. It kind of slows down a little bit, but then it does pick up, and then there's a very monumental character development for Shrubley. And when I say like a little repetitive, I mean it just gets sometimes a little, they like over explain the skills a little bit too much. And I don't mind the character exposition too much with the way they do it. It's kind of like talking to the NPCs like you would in like a real game, and they're like, oh, this is how this works. But sometimes it can take like 3 to 4 pages of just exposition dumping of these skills. So it just kind of like feels a little repetitive, and I feel like they kind of over repeat some of the more basic stuff. Then it can become like a little bit of a slog in some parts. But if you don't really care about how the skills work, then it's something that's easy to skip over. I will say though, the one character that I think was underdeveloped quite a bit would be Slyrox. She is a goblin, and a goblin is kind of like the flip version of a goblin, because in her world she kind of accidentally got summoned into Shrubley's world, and so that was like her world's version of a goblin. And she has quite, I'd say she's got a decent amount of development, and I can't like fault under development too much because she doesn't really appear until like halfway through the book. But I feel like she kind of got shafted a little towards the end, and just so they could develop Smudge a little bit more. But the second book does come out on February 4th, I think it was. So hopefully in the second book she'll get developed a little bit more, but she does have a good amount of development as is. She does stand fairly well as her own character. Um so yeah, just to really summarize it, I really enjoyed this book. I really highly recommend it. It has really great messages and themes in it, and it's been a long time since I've just read like a nice good classic fantasy with like some uplifting themes to it and like that feeling of hope. It was a nice break from a romantasy. Oh, so much romantasy. So if you like, just like, you don't even have to like lit RPG or isekai to really enjoy this one. You could just really read this as just like a standalone fantasy and still get quite amount of enjoyment out of it. So yeah, that was my thoughts and opinions on this book. I highly recommend it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear if I've turned you on to this book or not, or if you've already read it. Let me know what you thought of it. So yeah, if you would like to see more bookish content, you can follow me on Instagram at Magic of Moon Buns. And until next time, guys, bye.